Breaking news po, pinaalis po ng Canada ang mga diplomats ng India. In addition, magsasanction ang Canada against sa India. Ibig sabihin po yan, lahat po ng mga import po natin ng mga bigas, for example, mga basmati rice sa India at mga ibang produkto sa India mapapamahal because po sa sanction ng Canada, Amerika sa India.
Rift between India and Canada.
It follows Ottawa's claims the Indian government was directly involved in the killing of a Sikh separatist on Canadian soil last June. New Delhi denies this, calling the allegations absurd. Both sides expelled each other's top diplomats yesterday, and there are now calls on Canada's end to impose sanctions on India, as well as a ban on a local Hindu nationalist group known as the RSS.
Expect po natin na mapapamahal palalo ang mga bilihin po natin. Ano po pinag-ugatan po ng mga balita na to? Dahil po ina-accuse po ng Canada ang India sa pagkamatay ng isang Canadian citizen na ang pangalan po ay Singh. Ito pong si Singh po is kino-consider po na extremist at terrorist po ng India. Bakit po? Kasi po isa po siyang separatist. Ibig sabihin po niyan, gusto po niya na magkaroon ng separatism po ang lahat ng mga lugar po dyan sa India through acts po of terrorism or extremism po. Bagamat kulang po ang evidence na pinapakita po ng Canada sa India, ito po ay malaking impact ho, hindi lang po sa Canada, kundi sa mga allies po niya, katulad po ng mga Philippines. Since nag-i-import po tayo ng mga pagkain, mga ibang produkto po sa India, ibig sabihin po, asahan po natin, tataas palalo ang bilihin. Check this video out. And to my foreign fans, I love you guys. Please check my YouTube, guys, just for you.
India has slammed Canada for identifying the Indian High Commissioner and other diplomats as persons of interest in a probe related to the assassination of a Sikh separatist in Vancouver. India's Ministry of External Affairs says the allegations are preposterous and attributed them to the political agenda of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government. Now, ties between India and Canada have been deteriorating since September last year, when Mr. Trudeau alleged India's involvement in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He's a Canada-based separatist designated as a terrorist by New Delhi. Well, let's get details now. Ishan Gad joining us live from New Delhi. Ishan, first of all, what more do we know about Canada's allegations?
Well, Canada's allegations are only referred to in the press statement released by the Indian Ministry of External Affairs, in which it says that the Indian High Commissioner to Canada, along with a few other diplomats, have been named as persons of interest in an investigation. Now, the press release doesn't say what that investigation relates to, but we do know that Canada has launched an investigation into the death of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, and the language of the press statement makes us believe that this is about those allegations. This, of course, is one of the fiercest statements we have seen from India towards Canada, where India is essentially saying that Canada has been harboring people that India considers to be separatists and people with terrorist tendencies. And it has blamed the Justin Trudeau government for supporting these people, for providing shelter to these voices, and also providing shelter to anti-India voices generally in Canada. The Indian government also says that so far it's been asking Canada for any evidence relating to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations that the Indian government was involved in the death of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. But so far, India says Canada has failed to provide any evidence to it. This, of course, comes just a few days after Indian Prime Minister Modi and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Laos, where they had a very brief meeting. And it was speculated that this question might have been discussed in that meeting. But now, given the language that India has used against Canada, it seems clear that there might be diplomatic tensions escalating between the two countries, as New Delhi says that it feels that it's rightly going to take actions against Canadian diplomats here in New Delhi.
One may be curious, what in the world is wrong with Canada? How did a nation once known for its pragmatic, balanced approach spiral into political and economic turmoil? Justin Trudeau, who took office in 2015 with promises of change, hope, and a progressive outlook, now seems to have led Canada down a path of destruction. Justin Trudeau's leadership has alienated international allies, deepened domestic crises, and fundamentally altered Canada's once cherished image on the global stage. From foreign policy blunders to radical leftist agendas and unchecked immigration policies, Trudeau's tenure has been marked by controversies that have damaged Canada's reputation and, many argue, have irreparably harmed the Canadian dream. One of Trudeau's most recent and glaring diplomatic blunders came with his accusations against India, alleging that Indian agents were involved in the killing of a pro-Khalistan extremist, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Without providing any concrete evidence, Trudeau's claims have severely strained relations between Canada and India, a key economic and geopolitical partner. The lack of substantial proof has led many to criticize Trudeau for jeopardizing Canada's standing with one of the world's largest democracies, all while seemingly pandering to a domestic constituency of pro-Khalistani elements. India swiftly denied the claims, calling them absurd and unsubstantiated, while also accusing Canada of harboring separatists and extremists. Diplomatic channels have since been frozen and trade talks have stalled, leaving Canada economically vulnerable in a time of global uncertainty. The baseless accusations not only strained relations with India, but also isolated Canada on the world stage. However, this wasn't the first time Trudeau's foreign policy actions have angered international powers. His earlier stances toward China and Saudi Arabia have also led to significant diplomatic rifts. In 2018, Canada's relationship with Saudi Arabia reached a boiling point when Trudeau's government criticized the kingdom for human rights abuses. Saudi Arabia responded by freezing trade and investment with Canada, expelling the Canadian ambassador, and recalling thousands of Saudi students and medical patients from Canadian institutions. This move significantly hurt Canada's export potential to the Middle East and cut off diplomatic ties, leaving Trudeau politically and economically cornered. Similarly, Canada's relationship with China, one of its largest trading partners, deteriorated rapidly under Trudeau's leadership. The arrest of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou in 2018 at the request of U.S. authorities triggered a harsh response from Beijing, which retaliated by arresting 2 Canadian citizens. China even retaliated by placing bans on Canadian exports, particularly in the agricultural sector, crippling an already fragile economy. Trudeau's support for pro-Khalistani elements within Canada has been a long-standing point of contention. His Liberal government with Jagmeet Singh's New Democratic Party and NDP has allowed these terrorists and extremists to thrive. This stance has not only worsened relations with India, but has also raised concerns about the growth of extremism on Canadian soil. During his 2018 trip to India, Trudeau even faced significant backlash when it was revealed that a convicted Khalistani terrorist had been invited to official events. By turning a blind eye to the activities of Khalistani groups, Trudeau has undermined Canada's stance on countering terrorism and extremism. Domestically, Trudeau's embrace of radical left policies has created divisions within Canada, as his progressive agenda increasingly alienated moderate Canadians. His commitment